Hi everyone, I'm Joel Baird, the General Manager of Missoula Community Access Television, inviting you to this edition of Out and About. In this edition of Out and About, we're going to look at the Montana Natural History Center with Executive Director Thurston Elfstrom. So for people who might not have a context for the History Center, can you tell them a little bit about how it started and how you got to this spot?
We were actually founded in 1991, and so 28 years ago, by a group of environmental educators, professors, Forest Service folks that really felt the community and the surrounding area needed a resource to take people outside and learn about nature and the environment.
And this building was the result of a lot of years then of planning and sacrifice. I think you told me earlier that it started at University of Montana campus, meaning University of Montana closet.
That's exactly right. And that's where our first office officially was. It wasn't long before we were out occupying space, Heritage Hall, part of Heritage Hall.
Oh, out at the Fort Missoula. That's beautiful space.
Yeah, and of course, legacy of that is we still maintain a wonderful native plant garden at the fort. So you know, this as a nature center, this place is really a place to come and learn, but also really it's a gathering space to go discover nature in the outdoors. In fact, we turned the space on the other side of our building by our neighbors, Five Valleys, into a natural playground area with some native plants there as well. Of course, they need to be a little sturdier to stand up to some play.
Childish investigation.
Exactly. But it's a really wonderful spot, and like the native plant garden I mentioned, you know, this is a space for the community to enjoy and use also. All of this space is really for the community to use. We are actually a nature center without our own land, but we are utilizing public land. So we work with our partners at the U.S. Forest Service, Montana State Parks, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. We do some programming up on the National Bison Range. Nice. And that's our outdoor learning laboratory. This year we're running 8 weeks of summer camp. There's 4 different sections that we repeat. And then they feature things, outdoor investigations. We have a fishing camp that talks about not only the practices of fishing, but the ecology that these fish are inhabiting. There's some great entomology involved, and some stewardship principles and practices as well. Yeah. And we have some geology rock camps.
Oh, that's really cool. Yeah. So people watching, I encourage you, go on the website, montanaturalist.org.
We have all of our program offerings on the website. So there's additional family activities on Saturdays. We have a pre-K mini naturalist program that runs through the school year that occurs on Thursdays. As well as some adult programming too. So there are some things for big kids as well. So we have 8 exhibits, thousands of specimens. In fact, a lot of our specimens actually come from the University of Montana. We have everything from this interactive digital globe behind us to geology, paleontology, fossil specimens. Our exhibit on Glacial Lake Missoula is actually being renovated right now. We're working on that, and the new exhibit will be opening in June on the 14th.
Great.
Yeah, and we'll have a little exhibit opening for that. So please make sure to come.
Yeah.
And then, you know, a lot of our exhibits also talk about the place. So we have a biodiversity exhibit that curates Montana's ecosystems. And we have a Naturalist corner, which is a really cool place to highlight the work of our area naturalists. And that can be anybody from nature artists to researchers at the University of Montana, which we currently have on display.
Thanks for having us at this great, unique facility in Missoula.
Well, thanks for being here. We're thrilled you can come and join us for the afternoon.
Hi, you guys. I'm here with Lisa Bickle. She's the Education Director for the Montana Natural History Center. Lisa, thanks for taking the time to show us some stuff.
Thanks for coming out. Appreciate it.
You know it. So we're in this big, beautiful space, and we're going to take a look at some of the exhibits.
Yeah.
This one is super impressive, a full-size skeleton.
Yeah, isn't that amazing? That was, this is one that we have on loan from the University of Montana, so it's part of their research collection, or their extensive collection, but it's one of our favorites because it just gives you a nice perspective of the animal, but something that you just don't get to see very often.
Really don't get to see. This is a bull elk. I wish I could do the Latin. Cervus canadensis.
Yeah, you got it.
If you're really interested in learning more, you got to get down here.
It's true.
Mountain goats are here. Some of these animals I don't initially recognize.
Exactly. So we have grizzly and black bears here, and this is one where we have a little bit more exhibit work to do to help folks start to learn the difference between grizzly and black bears.
Yeah. Like, is this a grizzly closest to us?
Yeah, so grizzly bears are the two, and in this case, they're the two lighter colored bears. The black one in the middle is the black bear. It's not always like that. When you're out in the woods, they can have, just like we have different hair color, they can have different shades
Seasonal,
of brown.
like the rabbits often go...
Not seasonal, but they just have different shades.
Oh,
so black bears can be slightly more brown than black, and grizzly bears can appear more dark than this. So
these
color
are
is
like
never the way
Eskimo.
to know them apart.
Right.
Yeah, and then
this big grizzly is all dark brown.
Yeah, and so that one was a donation, so it's part of our permanent collection. And that may be a bear that's actually from Alaska or somewhere farther north, where they're just eating a lot more salmon, a lot more protein.
Oh, and the protein count in their system will account for the darker coat.
It will make them bigger.
Oh, bigger.
Yeah.
These guys
So you
are
never
so
know.
light.
Yeah,
They're
these
kind
guys,
of frosted.
yep, but they're considerably smaller too in some
that's
cases.
right.
Yeah, so color's not always the best way to tell them apart.
Right. And this exhibit, I see the interpretive sciences, Montana Forest. So it's trying to show typical types of wildlife that are living in the forest.
Exactly. If you look at the map, it's right along all of our rivers and lakes. It has the highest diversity of different animals and different plants. So it's a pretty cool ecosystem in terms of it just boasting a lot of biodiversity.
Right, because there's a tremendous amount of water, and I suppose that resource is giving birth to a tremendous amount of plants.
Yep.
And then the plants are attracting all these different animals.
Exactly.
Animals attracted to plants, animals attracted to animals.
And then what's really interesting is it's also people. And so people are also attracted to water. And so most of our major cities and towns in Montana are really close to water, which means the Intermountain foothills is where we see a lot of our cities.
Yeah. They're so wild looking. I mean, this one is almost taking on the look of a camel.
Yeah,
here,
right? Yeah, and it's interesting. So, they live out in the plains, in other parts too, through the year. So they don't go anywhere. They have to make do in the winter. And so they have to use their big heads to kind of move snow to get down to, because they still have to eat plants. They're plant eaters. And so a lot of this is a lot of muscle development from that movement of having to constantly move snow,
like multi-feet of snow, and looking for vegetation below.
Pretty much, yep. This will be a rotating exhibit. Right now we're featuring the work of Dr. John Marin's research lab and a couple of his research associates here. And here, what they were really looking at is like the diversity in, it's actually the montane ecosystem, going back to the original conversation, but open grassland, prairie-looking landscapes, and this is particularly the Blackfoot that they were studying here. And so they were looking at, why do we have so many different kinds of plants? And then really getting into some plants have really big seeds, and some plants have really tiny seeds.
Wow,
and
the white sagebrush is tiny.
And so plants with really big seeds, they will do really well if they're competing against a fast-growing grass or really thick grass like bunch grass. But mice will find them and eat them. These little seeds have a harder time competing with the bunch grass, but the mice don't eat them. So they're doing this interesting research project to sort of see how things lived with different constraints.
Oh, that's fascinating.
So this is a T-Rex skull. It's on long-term loan from the Two Medicine Dinosaur Center, which is in Bynum, Montana.
Tyrannosaurus Rex, the king. Yeah, that's an enormous
It's very dramatic. If you just imagine, it would be quite a bit taller. Yeah, so this is our kids' discovery room. And this one is targeted for young children.
Yeah.
And the idea is that you can come in here and play. We have natural items to play with. We change out some of the different materials in the touch table from time to time.
Nice.
So it's kind of fun to explore in here. And artist Melissa Madsen did the almost 360
Yeah, beautiful.
image up here, which is amazing. Yeah, so the exhibits and the materials at the Montana Natural History Center are appropriate for all ages. We have a lot of things that adults can come and explore, a lot of places where families can interact together. And this facility really serves as what we like to think is kind of the launching pad to getting outside. So you come in here, you learn about a few things, you learn to identify a few things or see things that you've seen before, and then get ideas to go back outside. And to that end, we offer upwards of 20 different programs, both in the facility but also out in the field. And the vast majority of what we do happens outdoors. And so we really want to see people getting outside and exploring and connecting with nature. And we're hoping that this place serves as, a place to sort of get that inspiration and get started.
Excellent. And if people want to learn more, they go to the website, montananaturalist.org.
Correct. Yep.
All right.
That's it.
Well, dear viewer, you heard it here. The Montana Natural History Center is open for your perusal. You can get the hours from the website and opportunities to use this space to educate your kids and also to get you outside enjoying the Montana we all live in. For MCAT, I'm Joel Baird. Thanks for watching this edition of Out and About. We'll be back with a new episode really soon.